Hey everybody, what's up? It's me, Aaron. It's my friend Jason. We're here to talk to you about week 7 of the Fantasy Football League. We're going to look ahead to week 8. Jason, my man, how's it going?
You know what? For the circumstances, I think I'm doing pretty great. I think I'm doing pretty
Yeah,
great. Got a smile on my face, but the show is yours, my friend.
yeah.
The floor is yours and the show is yours.
Well, I want to start. Like, we both went to live football games this weekend. You
Yeah.
saw the Super Bowl rematch in Santa Clara. I
Yeah.
watched the Sooners just dribble diarrhea down their leg on homecoming. Uh, Now, the Sooners have a lot of guys in the pros. They got 5 starting quarterbacks right now. If you want to count Rattler
Sure.
and Baker, we'll claim him. And then
Yep.
Hurts and Kyler and of course Baker. But then there's some other big names. They got CeeDee Lamb. They got Mark Andrews, Creed Humphreys, big contract. He's great. At the Sooner game in Norman, 100% of the jerseys I saw on kids and adults were one person. Can you guess which Sooner legend dominated the jersey scene there in Norman?
Uh, uh, the boss, number 44.
No, that'd be a fun choice. Jason,
Okay. Let me
Baker
keep.
Mayfield.
Was it Baker?
Baker Mayfield was there was Cleveland Baker, there was Tampa Baker, there was Sooner Baker everywhere. I didn't see a single anybody. I didn't see a Kyler. I didn't see a Jalen Hurts. No CeeDee Lamb. I saw Baker, 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 Baker. I don't know. He
I
is
texted
beloved.
you. I texted you last night. I do not root for the Sooners. That's probably pretty well known. In fact, I actually drink the tears their delicious tears of Sooner fans from the text thread that you guys leave me on when you complain about the
Uh,
Sooners. It's just the most delicious treat every Saturday. Uh, but I texted you last night after Evans and Godwin got hurt. I was so bummed because even I, who's anti-Sooner fan, I like Shake and Bake, man. He is
yeah,
such a likable dude. And when
yeah.
Godwin gets hurt with 30 some seconds left in the game, my heart just dropped
Same. Yeah,
because I love that dude.
cried.
And you sent me a link to watch a show like Eli Manning's Undercover. It's about a 30-minute episode of
Yeah.
Baker. I still haven't watched that. I promise to watch that this week because
Oh,
I
it's so good.
I just he's I think you said on this show how good he's going to be as an analyst when he
Oh yeah,
retires.
100%.
Like I
Yeah,
I think he's an awesome dude. Like he just seems like the greatest. And I've even heard on other podcasts like how much he was beloved in Cleveland by both the fans and the team.
yeah, yeah. Just not the ownership. Was
Isn't
there
that
was there
isn't
a
that
dominant?
wild?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I just think that's wild. And I mean, bringing up Cleveland, bringing up, just the ownership going all in on Deshaun the last year and a half until his torn Achilles is like, can you imagine being a Browns fan? Like that would be
Yeah,
torture. It'd be absolute torture.
it's got to be the worst. It's
Yeah.
got to they're jealous. They're envious of the Panther fans. They
You were gonna ask a
yeah.
question.
I was just gonna ask if there was a dominant jersey there at San Francisco,
Great
or was it
question.
a
Okay.
homogeny of
I
people?
was surprised as to how many Montana jerseys I saw.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot of Montana jerseys, not as many Rice, but the current player with the most jerseys was Brock Purdy, more than CMC. Um,
Oh, I would not have guessed that.
Me neither. I was like, look how
Yeah.
many 13s there are. In fact, I took that in. I would say actually a third of the crowd were Chiefs fans. The Chiefs fans were pretty dominant. Uh,
Yeah.
and
So
so
maybe they were just Elvis Gerback jerseys, and you didn't. You saw them from the front.
it was definitely uh Kelsey was the dominant jersey for Chiefs fans. Um, but I saw a ton of Purdy, man. They like him a lot, but man, it was an awesome game to be at. It's been a long time since I've seen an NFL game. Probably last time I saw an NFL game was probably 4 or 5 years ago with you down in Dallas.
That was a
Uh,
good time.
we need to
Yeah.
get back to
Yeah.
going to the Dallas games and inviting some of the league to pick out a Sunday night or a Thursday night or a Monday night game to get down there again because,
Yeah.
dude, it was awesome. It's super fun. I planned to make sure I had starters on offense on both sides of the ball so I could be able to be
Yeah.
rooting for points. Didn't work out
Yeah.
very well. Uh,
That may come up later.
But it was super fun. Even though they didn't score as many points, I kind of wish I wish I would have started Kansas City's defense just to have the juice of them getting those
Even more.
three
Yeah.
interceptions in the game and just like having something else to root for live. It was
Yeah.
awesome. And the girls had a great experience. It was really fun to be at a game together with them, their first NFL game, and to have it be a
Oh,
big break
yeah.
for them. They love the Chiefs and love Kelsey, and they like my fantasy football team and kind of follow along with the drama. And they I think they saw I had a good time even though my team took a huge loss to the arch rival.
It's a good lesson for them. Life lesson.
I don't
Find joy.
they haven't been watching the show, but they might watch this one because I think they're disappointed that their dad lost and to his rival. But I think that seeing what you have up your sleeve for the game of the week could be great. So,
Well, we'll see. You want to get started here?
yeah, let's hit it. I'll hit that
Yeah. Yeah.
share screen. We'll get to the YouTube
Yeah.
because we're here. It's hard to believe. Week 7 recap, week 8 preview.
Man, it's
Hard to
flying
believe
by.
we've gotten this far. But you want to kick things off with the Pharisees moving
Woo.
to over 500, sending the
Yeah.
Galloping Ghosts to 1-6.
Yeah. Yeah. Josh had that delicate situation where he had the slight lead and Zay Flowers. He's facing Lamar Jackson. He's trying to thread the needle. Instead, Lamar Jackson just took the needle and just started stabbing him in the D hole. They Josh and he even had that moment where they did a run for Zay Flowers, and you were like, oh, this is how Josh could win. Zay Flowers gets a rushing touchdown, and they hold Lamar down. Maybe Josh holds him off. No, that play, Zay Flowers gets hurt, and then Lamar Jackson just proceeds to throw 5 touchdowns.
God.
It's just I don't know, 44 combined points for Joe Mixon and Bijan. That's going to win you a lot of weeks. But then when your quarterback just comes off the top rope for the atomic 61, it's just game over, man. It doesn't even matter. There's a 0 from Debo. Like Josh's team, he's sold off so many parts. It's going to be hard for him to compete most weeks until some of his young guys break out. I do not understand what's going on in Miami. I thought Mike McDaniel was a good coach, but Tua goes down, and suddenly the offense is just non-functional. Coming off a bye week, and HN doesn't seem special anymore. The offense can't do anything.
No, it's hard to watch, man. I mean, I watched less football than I usually do this weekend because of traveling and going to the game. But yeah, I fully expected Miami to at least give Indianapolis, a better game.
Yeah.
And it was I think Josh is going to be gearing up for the Toilet Bowl championship to try to get that number 1 overall pick and to just gather up all of these first and second round draft picks to try to replicate what Brandon did after the championship. So I guess when you win, you can kind of do what you want. There's maybe a little bit more grace to be able to
house
do that.
money.
Yeah. So but yeah, this week from the Pharisees was huge with these 3 players. But I got to say, huge shout out to the new fan, the new listener. I don't know how many episodes we've done. I think we're past 40 different episodes we've done over the last 3 years, and great to have someone new on board. If my team was 4-3 and doing as good as they were, I too would also tune into the show. There's a reason to watch the show now for us to brag on this team. If you look at this roster again, he has Lamar, who looks like the MVP again, kind of without question right now. Yeah. Joe Mixon, you and I both, John wouldn't have listened to this because he didn't listen to the show until a couple weeks ago. We both questioned the Joe Mixon pick. The guy looks amazing. He's just a touchdown scorer. Yeah. He's had patience with Bijan. Bijan looks incredible. Almost 2 or 3 times a game, he just busts off these absolutely long runs. On his bench,
just
not
dancing.
He's got Debo and Terry, Scary Terry here. On his bench, he's got T. Higgins, who looks incredible. Yeah. Can't make the starting team. So just an awesome run for the Pharisees right now. He looks really good. So congrats to John, and welcome to a new listener. Glad to have him. And I can't wait to see what you have here because my goodness, this is 2 teams score more than 100 points. Our takes an L, but tell us about this game.
Yeah. Shane with a big lead. Jeff had a prayer named Derrick Henry. He got close, but Shane was just too mighty. Did you notice the top three highest scoring teams this week all had one player just put up a goose egg? That's weird.
I
Top
didn't see
three
that.
all managed it with a zero.
Wow.
Jameson Williams with a negative for the Sweat Sox, but almost everybody else shows up here. Just automatic AJ Brown every week. You get
Yeah.
48 combined points for Gibbs and the $103 man Kareem Hunt. There, yeah, there he goes. Yeah, Shane
Okay,
just
okay,
making a
wait. You
statement.
mentioned Kareem Hunt. How often do we
Oh,
get to have this? Okay,
live
this is a live video.
exclusive video.
Shane,
That
okay,
dude's happy.
that got a good story about that guy. I don't know if I have time for the show, but I got both of Shane's touchdowns from Mason on video right in front of me.
No. Look at that.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
Shane's making a statement. He's a serious contender this year.
Yeah, he absolutely is. We may have a chance to talk about this guy with your breakdown. I'll find this moment if we've got it. But I just it was pretty awesome for me to be able to capture those moments for Shane when my own players were refused to score at the goal line for the 49ers or for the Chiefs. But those players were absolutely huge. You texted me when I wasn't able to be as on it as I possibly. You said one of these teams went away from the starting quarterback. Do you want to break? You want to talk about that, or you want to? What's next on your list?
Oh, I was just going to mention Jeff. He's lost three in a row. He's lost four of his last five. Rhinos are just floundering. Yeah, wide receivers are not the problem.
Yeah.
Metcalf and Drake London have been just remarkably reliable. I like Pitts rewarding Jeff for believing in him. 104 points is a good week, but you need a great week to beat off a lot. What was the oh, it was you wanted to talk about Jeff benching Mahomes?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, but it was the right move.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the game
Yeah.
manager, there was a couple of plays live at the game that were just stunning. One was him just busting through this cornerback for his rushing
The
score.
sideline run.
And then the sideline run was right in front of us. And it just went crazy.
Yeah.
The sideline run. I actually looked on Twitter. There was some blowback I felt like of him kind of, feeling like he could do it every once on the sideline for fear of not getting just busted up. But at the moment, watching it live was so sick. It was just just an awesome play. It was right in front of us, going right towards our end zone, right towards our sideline. We were like, right there on the end zone, and he was running right towards us, and then the jukes the guy out and keeps running. It was just just a fabulous play. He's so fun to watch, but he's not the guy that used to score 75 points, cracked that 4 times back pre-COVID. Yeah. He's not the guy he was.
Yeah, well, and I think he's the best quarterback in the league, but we're playing fantasy football, and the recipe there, the recipe there is just let the defense do it. He's going to do just enough. It's a real conundrum for Jeff because normally I'm like, I want the guy with the most talent. Eventually, that talent's gonna prevail, but the situation's bad here. I mean, I think you just hold him and hope it gets better next season.
Yeah, I think that's probably what you do. No Pacheco, no Rice, no Juju. On the other side of the ball, you had no Jennings, no Debo, no Ayuk, no CMC.
Yeah.
Like, to go into this game when we bought the tickets thinking like this is going to be such a fun game,
cavalcade of stars,
Super Bowl 58 rematch with all these stars, and the top 7 skill players are not in the game for either team. It's still a super fun game to be at, but definitely interesting to watch Pat Mahomes be like 20th in as at a quarterback and not top 6. It's just kind of surprising to me. So another game where 2 teams score over 100 points, and yet Mahoney takes a loss. Tell us about this game.
Yeah, John was way out ahead coming into Monday night. Chris has the chance because he's got Herbert, Bateman, and Cameron Dicker, the kicker. But it's a whopper of a score he's chasing. Hopes seemed alive when Rashad Bateman caught that big touchdown pass. But again, we see a team with a good score just fall to a team with a great one. Now, the Hellhounds were just firing hot, like 40 points between the running backs. Falstron traded for Amari Cooper and Najee Harris, and here they are, both of them paying dividends this week.
Yeah.
Saquon's ferocious. Like those poor Giants. I wonder if that's the trade-off with Devonta Smith, though. Like maybe there's not going to be weeks where they're both good plays because Smith was just a bust on his bench.
Yeah.
Yeah. 104, that's a good score for Chris. It's a great score for Chris's team.
Yeah.
And it just looks like it's James Cook, and then everybody else looks like he got him off the waiver wire. I don't know. And now even Cook's job might be in danger because Ray Davis looks good. It's Chris needed a win here when he had a good score like that because I don't know how many weeks like this he's going to have.
Yeah, he could have played a lot of other teams and gotten a win, usually with 105 points. Didn't get it done. It's a nice win. Didn't get to watch much of the game flow of Houston, Green Bay. Obviously, my quarterback didn't score very many points, but people
Green Bay's tough.
People say that Jordan Love didn't look great, but the stat line looked pretty good to me.
Yeah.
So those teams look
so
really
many
good.
touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a touchdown thrower, man. Even threw a touchdown to Josh Jacobs. So now this is two teams that did not score 100 points. In fact, I did notice that if Mahoney would have played the Rompers,
how
good close that match would have been, and how just the luck here to have the Rompers could have played a lot of different teams and still gotten a win. But tough to see this game. I'm sure that your breakdown is going to talk about this guy when it comes to this guy's been featured every single week.
Yeah, it's tough break. They finally catch a break. The Rompers, they were due for some positive regression, I thought, and here's their break in the form of just busted Jaden Daniels. I hope he's fine. You know, he was acting like he was smiling on the sideline, so hopefully his mom tweeted that he's fine. So
I didn't see that. Good deal.
Yeah, like that afternoon, she had tweeted out like, so I guess we feel good about him. But, the durability was something we wondered about. But look, if he's ready to go this week, let's roll. Baker Mayfield with another big boy score, but at what cost? I love Baker, but I am dubious about the ability to keep the offense going without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Gosh,
the injuries they make you sick.
I know that obviously Godwin's foot was going the wrong direction, so I don't think he's going to probably be back this season. I haven't been able to. I've been catching up this today. So it wasn't a cramp last night for Evans. It was a hamstring pull. It was a hamstring trouble.
Yeah, he'd been having hamstring like iffy, and it looks like it's like. Okay. I haven't heard anything official yet, but to me that looks like one of those go on IR.
Okay, like 4 to 6 weeks kind of thing, maybe,
It had that look, the way he just instantly grabbed it. And
I was hoping it was just like just a terrible cramp all of a sudden or something.
Right.
I think I'm grown as I get past 45. I don't root for anybody to get hurt anymore. I feel like there's been some of my worst moments. I was like, man, I want my team to win so bad that I want other players to get hurt. I don't want that at all. So that game last night just sucked. I also hated, I don't know which broadcast you were watching or if you were watching with mute on, but I was watching the Joe Aikman.
That's the one I like.
Buck. I think that Joe Buck was saying like right before the injury, like, I don't know why we're still doing this. And then that play. God, it's
exactly.
Sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
everybody saw it except the Coach Bowles.
Yeah. So this game from Baker, I obviously flashed him on the screen for those who are listening as a podcast. I also had one more player. Man, this guy has been awesome.
I did have him in. He was in my notes too. He has a touchdown every game this season.
And this is
for those through again.
For those listening as a podcast, this is the Ram running back Kyron Williams, who's just having an absolutely monster season.
Yeah, man, it's bad. James Conner looks pretty good for Jeremy. He was looking fast and strong, but otherwise, this is just a sad lineup. Jeremy's got some good depth, so I think he can kind of withstand some of this, but this is tough. I think if he's okay if Jaden Daniels bounces back. Otherwise, he's dependent on Kyler, and I don't like that for him.
No, good to hear what you said about Daniels. I wasn't sure how soon he'll be back, but it sucks to have your quarterback go out after just two passes and 3 rushes.
Yeah, you can't win.
Yeah,
you're not winning.
It's just a lost game. Congrats to the Rompers for going 2-0. So
Yeah.
the last 2 weeks. Another team, two teams that Chris Mahoney would have would. Oh, I do have one comment about Mahoney before you talk about this loss here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Somebody was trying to pronounce Mahomes at the San Francisco Chiefs game, and I was just this lady walking past me, and she's like, "That Mahoney sure is a good player," and I just started laughing because I was like, "Mahoney, it was awesome." So, but tell us about this sneaky win here and a loss to Brandon, who looked invincible, but he looked vincible this week.
Yeah, yeah, it's another game with a zero score player. They both have one. I feel so bad for Chris Godwin here. This was looking like a career win, and then like you said, his foot's just going the wrong way. It's just a brutal game. Boy, when Russ cooks, George Pickens comes alive like that. This is like he's unlocked this magical fairy chest or something now. It was fun watching Wilson just launch bombs and then Pickens is just out wrestling dudes for it like they're playing 500 in the backyard. Um, Brandon gets Aaron Jones and Brock Bowers and just a whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones has been terrific. I do worry about his durability because he seems like he's one of those guys that gets banged up every year. But boy, he's money when he's out there. And then Tank Dell had a touchdown he dropped, so that's zero sort of hurts.
Yeah.
But boy, Brock Bowers, and then I feel like Neighbors is going to bounce back a little bit, assuming he can drag Daniel Jones with him, or maybe we get that backup in there.
Was it Drew Lock? I didn't
Drew
watch
Lock. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name.
I did see on Twitter that Brock Bowers is on pace for the rookie receiverception record over Puka Nacua if he continues at the pace he's at right now, which is just wild. The only player I highlighted in the pictures was Geno Smith, who just has almost 2,000 yards passing after his few weeks. He's at 1950, just tons of completions.
Remarkable.
Looking like a good quarterback for the Vipers. Nice win for him to stay above 500, getting a win over Apex Mountain, top of the hill, Brandon Whiteside. So,
Brock Bowers he's second in the league in receptions, and number one is Chris Godwin. So, that's Bowers' like title now to hold on to.
Amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, the game of the week was brought to you by, of course, Dr. Odyssey, brought to you by ABC, streaming on Hulu this fall. And Aaron, I don't know if I've refreshed my screen more. I mean, I refresh my screen a few hundred times a game, even though it refreshes automatically, yet I still hit refresh.
Just in case.
It never quite was working for the Karate Kid. Let us know about this game of the week. I'm going to go just take a quick restroom break, and I'll be back in about 4 or 5 minutes. Just kidding. Take it away.
Jason, you flew 1,600 miles, 3,200 round trip miles to the Kansas City Chiefs game in Santa Clara, California, to see Jordan Mason score you 6.9 points and Travis Kelce 1.7 points for a total of 372 miles traveled per point scored. Almost here to Dallas and back for every single 10 yards you accrued. Jason, do you remember last week on this very show when I told you it didn't matter who you started at wide receiver 2, that every single wide receiver on my bench would outscore your wide receiver 2? And what did you do? You went and traded for Tyreek Hill. And you know what? I was still right. I love my team. Welcome back, Nick Chubb. Chubb, whom I drafted as a rookie, and I loved, and I traded him away to you to get Joe Burrow. So welcome home, Nick Chubb. It's a great week when you can beat the Karate Kids. We're on to the Vipers.
That's it. Just a dominating victory enough. Well, I've got some pictures for you. These two guys are terrifying to play against.
Yeah, they are.
the grill here with Chase. I was walking around amazingly at these new stadiums. Thousands of televisions all on Red Zone before the game, which is super
Oh,
cool.
that's nice.
So everybody who's enjoying their food, gathering around the TVs, watching Red Zone. And I get there and I'm behind a little bit, but then I get to see a touchdown from Jefferson and a touchdown from Walker, within seconds walking
That was
down.
a good moment for you.
I was like, oh, I know. I tell my kids, oh, Walker scored, Jefferson scored. And then I walk in a few more steps and then I see a Chase to Burrow score. And I'm deflated.
Yeah.
But then, the newly acquired
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, look at this picture. Is this not the coolest picture?
My man.
That guy is awesome. They've been spreading around the points in Detroit, but he just dominated this game. Then Amon-Ra St. Brown gets and then my gosh, Fleece Hall turning into Brees Hall for you this week, looking great. It was awesome. And then a 10-point performance from CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
That was trouble.
That game was there for you. The Packers pass defense is for real. Watch out when your quarterback is facing the Packers.
I had a scout, my dad. My dad was watching this game, and he was he was saying how they sometimes had 8-man fronts, and the Houston Texans could not figure out who was dropping and who was not going to drop, and he said,
yeah.
Playing and then I think playing on that slow field makes a difference. I think playing at Green Bay when you're kind of a team based upon that performance. I was bummed, and I was kind of a little alarming for the Karate Kid to only see 10 points out of a non-hurt quarterback. It's a lost game against the Cobras if you're going to get 10 points out. So it's a tough loss. But the Karate Kid always struggles early and hopefully comes back for some redemption time. So in order to feel better about myself before we go on to the week, I had my wife take a picture of myself. And I wore a
this is early too. The game's still
this is actually after the game. We were one of the last
So
we were one of the last people to leave the stadium. I wanted to get a picture in the shade of me disappointed wearing what was confused as my Christian McCaffrey jersey. This is actually a Oregon Duck. LaMichael James bought this as a rookie in San Francisco before he played the first snap.
Wow. I remember that.
I think I texted you or called you. Maybe weren't even texting back then. How proud I was to buy a LaMichael James jersey in the Nike store in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't turn out. There were a lot of Christian McCaffrey jerseys. I think I was the only LaMichael James jersey that I saw. Of course, in the entire stadium.
Sure.
They had to have my wife take a picture of a disappointed Smith in the stands. The only thing that redeemed the week was knowing that you were watching a loss with your dad on Saturday of the Sooners, and you and the group thread just melting down completely relationships. While I was watching the Oregon Ducks descend to being the number one team in the nation, just the glorious weekend that the Ducks had. Again, last weekend beating Ohio State, got Illinois coming up this week, but watching Dillon Gabriel just play to a level that's made so many Duck fans so proud, especially when I got made fun of all summer saying that Gabriel would take the starting job away from Jackson Arnold. So they had to kind of, cast him aside. He had to go find another starting job somewhere. And that's really the only thing that made me feel better about this loss was drinking the joy of the Sooners' tears and watching Dillon Gabriel play so well. So hopefully he can stay healthy. Watching a Polynesian quarterback of Hawaiian descent wearing number 8, while also having Marcus Mariota come in and throw touchdown passes for the Commanders this week. It was a good weekend to be a Duck fan, even though it was a tough weekend to be the owner of the Karate Kid. So let's go to our standings. We've got 3 teams in each division at 5-2. Right now you've got the Ghosts with 1 win, Mahoney and the Rompers with 2, and Dude Abides with 3. So you've got 8 teams with 4 more wins, and then you got the other 4 teams. Will one of those teams be able to knock off one of those 4-win teams and get a playoff spot? I guess we'll see about that. The Cobras, host of this show, analyst of this show, again, at the top of our point standings, making that a little bit further up, a little bit more distance this week than last week. We don't really talk about it much in previous years, but I kind of always watch who is the regular season point total champion. I think that matters. And so I like to be able to see where we stand here. Karate Kid down in the middle of the pack there with his 10-point performance by CJ Stroud. The best ball league was interesting this week. I'd like to make sure we make a note that 2 teams did not crack 100 points this week, which seems to be hard in the best ball league.
Right.
And we had one team almost crack 200, but there was an oddity this week. In a best ball league, Smitty's team got 0.5 points from all 4 of their wide receivers. In a best ball league, could not crack 1 point from his wide receiver this week.
That's bad.
Smitty, that is just an oddity of the week. We're going to try to bring you this slide every week. Now, oddity of the week for our best ball league, when we have either a team get 0 points from somebody. This is going to happen when someone's going to have 0 points from a quarterback. We'll find that later this week. But my goodness, this Mahoney looked really good. Team
almost got there.
The last 2 weeks, almost cracking that 200-point barrier.
Yeah.
Just up and down the roster. Look at those point totals. They looked great. Congrats to Chris on being the best ball team of the week. The Vapors continue to be at the top of the North Division and the whole league. And you've got Let Brandon Cooks right there in second place. Again, every team in the North Division at least tied or better with the top of the South Division in the best ball league. The Week 7 picks contest saw Brandon and the Vipers at the very top, and you have the Cobras again at the very top, right above the Ghosts. The Karate Kid could be one behind, but 30 minutes before kickoff of the Monday night game, switched both of his picks from winners to losers. That was the dumbest thing I did all week. And it's 3 behind the leader. God, so dumb. Super contest picks, though. I'm enjoying not seeing the results of this until the show because I don't think you're checking that. So this is pretty fun. I did have a little bit of redemption here with my first ever 5-point week on the season.
Look at that.
Feeling pretty good. Copeland had 4 this week. Chris went down to 2. Whiteside with the 4-point week. And welcome to the contest, new listener of the show via podcast form. Pastor John Middendorf, as we like to call him the show. Through John. He has 3 points. He's going to try to catch the bottom of the pile, which is 8-2. So Weiss leads at 23 points, Smitty with 21. And then you see the rest of the results there. Middendorf with 3. He sits 13 points behind A2. Can he catch him in the weeks to come? We'll see. But now we're on to the week 8 preview. And we have a 1-6 team versus a 2-5 team. So break it down, Aaron.
Yeah, this is 6 losses in a row for Dr. Phantasm, while Sir William Esquire is on a 2-game winning streak. Chad gets the rematch between Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield that was just a fantasy bonanza a few weeks ago. Baker currently the number 2 rated quarterback on the season, but as we discussed, there's issues there. So I kind of like Purdy versus Dallas to outscore whoever Chad rolls out. Purdy and Baker both quite a few questions about how their receivers are gonna shake out. I feel like Kyron's probably the best play between the teams at running back, but this is really close. Even Brian Robinson's been so dependable, though. Running back just feels like a wash to me. Wide receiver, though, yeeks. I like Jaden Reed to bounce back. He's the best wide receiver in this game. I don't love anybody else, but I think Chad's wide receiver 2 outplays whoever Josh starts there. Tight end, who knows? Mark Andrews had 3 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. Cade Otton's been solid, so it'll be interesting to see what Chad decides there. I feel like Laporta is probably going to start getting more catches, but this might just be who he is. I'm going to take the Rompers to make it 3 in a row.
Wow. I'm taking the Ghosts because I don't know how you feel when you trade away a player, but I still am going to root for Rome Odunze for his entire career, mainly because he's got the no trade clause, so he can never be traded to the Cobras. That feels really good. But I think that the Ghosts are going to win on top of the Denver Broncos' performance at home against the Carolina Panthers, who don't look like a professional football organization. If there was relegation, would love to send them and the Browns to some other team that we could be able to watch the Georgia Bulldogs or somebody play in the NFL. And the Brock Purdy conversation is really interesting. When he loses all the Avengers, when he loses CMC and Debo and Ayuk, can he still perform with Jennings and Ricky Pearsall? I mean, I'm really fascinated to see how they do as a team. But I'll take the Ghosts to get back on track. Love Zay Flowers, love Rome, but I think on the back of it, the Denver Broncos, I'll take a win for him. And we now believe that we've got these 2 winning teams playing against.
Yeah, look at this. Vipers have won 2 in a row. Cobras with 5 of their last 6. You can't overstate the loss of Godwin. The Vipers are just a different team. He leading the team in receptions, second in yards behind Jamar Chase.
Wow.
So this just leaves a big Godwin size hole.
Yeah.
Quarterback kind of feels like a wash to me. You mentioned how all the yards Geno Smith is throwing for us, so you cannot take him lightly. I feel like the Cobras have a pretty good advantage at running back and wide receiver. Although the new George Pickens has me a little concerned. I'm alarmed. Um, but Jamar Amon-Ra, save me. I do like Jay to have an edge at tight end, but not enough to hold off the Cobras.
Yeah, I'm taking the
Cobra
Cobras
win.
too. Taking the Cobras too. Juju Smith-Schuster, I think I saw he's going to be out another week.
Mm.
I don't know who Pat's going to continue to throw to, but they're going to take care of Las Vegas, no problem. I mean, it's just kind of do what they need to do to get it done.
Yeah.
I think the Vipers go to 50-50 with going to 4-4, and I think the Cobras go to 6-2.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, here we go. Jeff's lost 3 in a row. Does he stick with Darnold? Does he turn back to Mahomes? Either way, I like it as a slight edge over Kyler Murray. If Jane Daniels is ready, then I see that as a big boost for the dude. Although the Bears are tough. The Bears, that is a tough defense. If your ribs are hurt
Coming
and you
off a
got to face
bye.
the Bears, yeah, and they've had some time to figure out all the scheming stuff. I don't know. Derrick Henry is far and away the number one running back. He's got over 5 points per game more than Saquon, who's number
Wow.
two. Jeremy probably ends up with a running back on his bench that outscores Jeff's RB2, though. Feels like a 3 wide receiver week for the Rhinos, frankly. That's tough if DK Metcalf is out. He busted his knee. Not, it
Yeah.
doesn't bust. He hurt it. I don't know. Maybe he'll be fine. They rub some salt on it or something. Um, Kittle's the number one tight end. I am skeptical that Dallas can do anything to keep him out of that spot. Pitts is a nice counter, but I think the skid continues for Jeff, and Jeremy comes away with a win.
I'll take the Rhinos. I don't know. I just feel like he's due. He's had good games and scored a lot of points and just taken losses. Looking
Yeah,
up and down the roster of the dude abides, he looks pretty good. But I think Evans won't be back. Um, I worry about Houston. I hope for a bounce back game. But man, they missed Nico so bad. He's not going to be back for at least another 2 more weeks. Um,
yeah.
I think Nico's presence will allow it open up some things underneath for Diggs that he's just not getting right now. So I'm going to take the Rhinos. I feel like I know this is not the game of the week, but this is a big game. Four and
Oh
four
yeah.
seems drastically better than 3-5.
Oh yeah. You feel way better about yourself.
Yeah. So I think this is one of those games that I'm going to make sure I'm watching this week, even though I love them all, but this is going to be one of the ones that I've got my eye on. So,
Yeah.
except for unlike this one, which is 2-5 versus 5.
Yeah. Does Dak get his job back? Herbert's coming off 35 points. It's his best game of the season. The last time we saw Dak, he was getting his pants pulled down by the Lions. Hurts feels like the safest quarterback choice amongst the two teams. Running back is a strength for Mahoney's. Unfortunately for Chris, Brandon's pretty strong at running back too. I like him to have the edge there. Montgomery got a little dinged up, but assuming he's okay, I like Brandon to win at running back. Bowers second in receptions, probably number one moving forward. So I think cute intern Brandon's got an edge at every spot. And it feels like an easy win.
Yeah, I think so too. They get to go against New England, although Drake Mays looked better than some. I just don't think that they have the positions and skill players to be able to actually make a difference.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Raiders are going to make. I don't think that Pat Mahomes makes many mistakes anymore. Although I think he has like 7 interceptions and 5 TDs. For some reason, they don't give up too much besides like an occasional interception. So I think that Brandon goes to 6-2. I think he continued. I think you and Brandon are going to be at the top of the league next week again. I just don't think that Mahoney has the firepower. So I hope that they continue to not trade away. Caden, stop trading away draft picks for next season. You need to load up on draft picks. Another
Yeah.
game here. I think 5-3 sounds a lot better than 4-4. So I think this is another matchup with two teams with the same record. That's going to be a good one. So,
Yeah.
and CJ Stroud played against one another last week, and this week they play against one another in the SoonerNation Fantasy Football League. So break down this game for
Yeah,
us.
that's fun. Yeah, Karate Kids have lost three in a row. I feel like that should be a bigger story on this show.
Yeah.
You were the last undefeated team, and now three skid.
Yeah.
I think Jordan Love's got the edge at quarterback, at least till we see Nico back out there.
I think you're true. Correct.
Jaguars, what's that?
I think that's very true for sure.
Yeah,
Jaguars are
uh,
awful.
Jaguars are such a juicy opponent.
Yeah.
And then the Colts are, they're kind of middle ground. So that's dicey. Or Saquon versus Kenneth Walker. That's a battle between two top five running backs. That's big time. I think Jordan Mason just rolls versus Dallas. Both running backs, both teams' running backs are going to put up good scores. I feel like CeeDee Lamb versus Justin Jefferson. That's a terrific wide receiver battle. CeeDee still really hasn't broken out this year. Jefferson ought to just be a great play versus the Rams, though. I don't know what to expect with Tyreek Hill. That offense is just busted. So I'm going to keep thinking John beats you at wide receiver too, although Kelsey is such an edge for you. Should be. I think Jason puts an end to the 3-game losing streak and you get back in the win column.
I think so too. I really like the Chiefs against Las Vegas too. Watching their defense live, they are
Yeah.
really good, and then man, they just can't. You can't run against them, and so that puts them in positive experiences when the passing game. And it was super fun to watch them. I think that the Karate Kid is just a better team, so I'm gonna take him to win. But I'm terrified of a Jordan Love 55, 60-point game.
Oh yeah,
Just
it's
keep
there.
scoring.
Yeah.
He just keeps throwing touchdown passes, whereas CJ just keeps handing off for touchdown runs. I'm going to take the Karate Kid, but I'm not confident. Going to 4-4 after starting 4-0 is going to be a bummer. It's going to be harder to want to try to produce the show with as high quality as we try each week if I continue to lose. But the game of the week,
Yeah.
disappointingly, no sponsor. When you're 0-3 and you get blown out by your rival, nobody reached out to me at all this week. So sorry to the league, but no one wanted to sponsor the game of the week when you have such a performance from your host. So sorry, it's just a blank screen because we have the game of the week being new show watcher Pharisees against the Sweatshop.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear you break down this game because I do believe it's the absolute game of the week.
Yeah, yeah. Both teams have won three in a row, so something's got to give here. We don't get three in a row versus three in a row very, very frequently. Lamar Jackson, currently the number one quarterback in the league. Josh Allen clocks in at number 5, but he's way behind Lamar in points per game. Joe Mixon should have a huge game versus the Colts. Should be a running back bonanza, honestly, between all four of these guys. I love all four of them.
So awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. John has 2 great plays. Shane has 3 guys to decide between. Shane's going to leave somebody pretty good on the bench. Coach Coward suddenly very thin at wide receiver, though. Ayuk out for the season. Jameson Williams suspended for being a cheater. Good thing he's still got A.J. Brown to anchor him, but I don't know. Interested to see. I guess Dobbs, you roll with Dobbs and hope you get lucky there. Debo was out with pneumonia, so I don't know what's the recovery on getting your lungs back after fluid in the lungs.
Crazy.
McLaurin's got a tough matchup versus the Bears. Obviously, we like him a lot better if Jaden Daniels is out there. But then he's got Olave and Higgins too. So you highlighted those wide receivers earlier, and I'm going to be real interested to see who he decides to go with. And I like the Pharisees to beat off a lot.
God, you know what? I think the Pharisees are going to beat off a lot too. I think that I'm going to have a hard time picking against Lamar, Bijan, Mixon. I mean, look at that. I mean, I love Josh Allen. I love Gibbs. I love Hunt. I love Brown. This is the game of the week by far. 2 elite teams. I think the Pharisees come out on top. So best of luck to the league this week. If you've got time to stick around, I've got a story about that guy who's jumping up in my video. Otherwise, the rest of the league can hit it. We'll keep it on the pod, on the show if people are interested. But otherwise, thanks for listening, guys. And Aaron, thanks for all of the hard work you do as an analyst. It's super fun to watch the show. Sometimes I don't even know what you say because I'm just paying attention to my own responses. So I like to watch it back. Nice. I like what you have to say. Thanks for all your hard work. But I will share that story about that guy who was going crazy.
Let's hear
video
it.
if you got time. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys. We're going to keep you here if you want to watch, but understand if you log off. So at the game, 3 rows in front of us, there was a San Francisco 49er fan who was drinking quite often during the game, but from the moment the game tipped, kept just yelling, cheaters, Kansas City cheaters, cheaters. I mean, he probably said the word cheater 400 times. I mean, it
what
was,
a delight.
oh my gosh, it was the biggest loser mentality that you could ever imagine because of the way that he was just like, he couldn't handle that they were just like, they've got continued to get beat by Kansas City. So he had to find something to blame on it. And so it was so annoying to everybody in the section. Even people sitting around him, like, just became an obnoxious fan. I think he was about a 30-year-old male. And to our left was this Kansas City fan wearing a Mahomes jersey. And as the game kind of continued to get out of hand, more fans of Kansas City became more aggressive towards the cheater yeller the whole game.
Yeah.
And it became very interesting because I felt like you see people getting into fights at NFL games in the stands I think that my algorithm must think that that's like catnip for me because I will watch a video of NFL people getting in a fight in the stands. I will watch that. In fact, one of my favorite videos of all time is when I think a woman set to Miley Cyrus's wrecking ball at an Alabama game goes into like, and they say, if you fly in like a wrecking ball, and she like, she tries to jump on it. I like as much of a pacifist as I like to pretend I am. I love people who get into fights at NFL and college football stadiums. So the huge Mahomes fan who was pointing this way the whole time, going crazy when Kareem Hunt scored, he was pointing at the cheater fan, and he started calling him a loser. And it was awesome. You're a loser. You're a loser. Like that. It was getting more and more tense as we came to the fourth quarter. The cheater started throwing some stuff at the Pat Mahomes fan. And
oh boy,
there was some tension where people were trying to make sure that they didn't get in a fight. And my girls and myself and my family were like, oh, are we going to be in the section where a fight's going to break out? And it was pretty awesome to be able to watch how tense it was. And the cheater starts going by the other fan, and we were just like, is he going to just
cheap shot.
Cheap shot him? And because I saw him talking to his friend, he started like, saying like, what I'm gonna, it's like he's trying to calm him down. His girlfriend's trying to calm him down. And it was very exciting. He passed by him, doesn't cheap shot him, but he goes to the top and starts yelling expletives at the guy who's chanting loser. And then the guy kind of got up, and then he just left, and we were just like, oh, we didn't see a fight. I was grateful that we didn't see violence in the section right there. But it was amazing, the guy with the loser energy yelling the whole game cheater, and then how it came back on him when all the Chiefs fans just started calling him a loser. It was awesome. It was great drama. The girls had a great time, and it was fun to be part of an NFL game. Even though the Karate Kid fell on their face this week, took a black eye from the Cobra Kai. Just a good adventure of the week. Thanks for staying around for a longer story. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Good job, man.
See ya.